We're back with another review and thoughts on. Alright, so I'm not usually, I'm not a big fan of lost footage flicks at all. Much. I mean, some of them I don't mind, like as above, so below, or The Tunnel is an underrated one, I think. Um, there's a few others I actually like. The Paranormal Activity flicks, they're what they are. I like the fourth one, alright. The fifth one, Ghost Dimension's fine. Um, I don't really hate it, but like the others, the first one's okay. But this one, Blair Witch Projects, the first one's okay. The newer one, 2016, I believe. Sequel, it's not a remake, it's a sequel to the first one. But this movie, written and directed by Matt something something. Basically, it's about three social media influencers venture out into the woods to debunk a trending myth, only to find themselves lost and delirious in a weird forest. So basically, it's sort of like the Blair Witch, except boring. Way more boring. Um, Now, maybe, it's trying to build, it's a slow burn, and not really much you can do with lost footage when you're out venturing like that. I don't know. There's two movies I like called. Well, I like the second one more than the first one, but two movies I like that are also lost footage called Creep, about this guy who. Well, never mind. But those are lost footage, and granted, those are slow burns, but at least there's stuff going on. This movie, all they do is walk in the forest, back and forth, talking, and then peeing, and then talking, and then making out a little bit, and then running because they're in a alternate dimension, I guess. It's never really, it's explained sort of like what because really this myth that they're going out there to debunk is about a tree in the forest. Like if you walk around the tree, it takes you into an alternate time paradox or whatever. And they do this, and there's not really much different except you're just stuck in the forest. Which, I mean, that is kind of bad, but then I'm like, I mean, there's no snakes that I saw. There's really no, reptiles out there that they didn't show, or they showed. Um, the acting in this is fine from everybody. Nothing noteworthy. I mean, you don't really know much about these three characters. Really, I mean, like, I guess they're social. I guess they use YouTube pretty much and social media outlets, and they're a group of a trio of friends. But I don't know, like it was kind of boring. Like all they do is walk in the forest and they have conversations. Like like the two uh, main people, because the one girl vanishes and then they see her throughout the movie, or she'll just stand there like she's Katie from Paranormal Activity, and then she'll flash bleep out, kind of, or warp out of the frame or scene, which is sort of cool, but then not really, because they don't really do much with that. And then I don't know, like because then it's down to, because then the Asian girl, if I can get her name, Jennifer Tong, who plays Ruby right, Ruby Real. Um, but yeah, this like basically, I guess she tries, they try to reverse whatever, but they can't, of course, and then she even tries to go at the end, like because they went this way instead of going how about you go the other way around? I think I think the one guy did that, or one of them did that, and they think maybe that sort of reversed it maybe, or messed it up kind of. Because then the guy mentions she's warping in and out of spots when they're walking, but yet she's not I don't know what these well, they're not really doppelgangers, but they're like copies of like the friend, like the Callie chick, who I thought they kept calling Kelly, but it was Callie. But the Callie chick, she's the first one that gets lost or disappears, and then she's the one that warps in and out of scenes. And then there's another guy that she mentions that she saw earlier, a hiker looking guy. You find out he's also a warper. But I guess, and we never know if the Ruby made it out or not, because then she leaves the camera facing the tree as she walks the other way around the tree to try to reverse it. I'm like, how about you just take the camera with you? Like, why are you leaving your bag? Because she takes her bag off, and I'm like, why are you leaving your stuff in the camera there? And then the camera just sits there on the tree, and then the scene gets brighter and brighter, lens flares or whatever, and then it just cuts to black, and then credits, and I'm like, okay, whatever with this movie. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. It was boring, and the acting wasn't bad, but the idea of a time. This is mainly what it is, a time tree, really, kind of, because it just takes you into like a somewhat alternate reality, but not really, because they don't explain, like they do, but it's boring. And then they hear weird sounds at the beginning after they did the tree ritual thing. They start hearing clacking or stuff. And they did, before they even went to the forest, they interviewed this one guy that I guess survived it. Cause he's like, I heard voices, I was starting to see stuff, and I'm like, how did he beat it? They didn't ask him, I don't believe. I don't even know if he gave an answer. But yeah, this movie overall is, I don't want to keep repeating myself. My thoughts on it is it's not even a time waster, like it's just boring. There's nothing exciting about it. At least with the Blair Witch. The first one, the second one, the sequel, whatever. Those movies are better. Because at least there's a better, granted, not downbeat endings, but more interesting story and more interesting characters, unlike these people. So, yeah. I would say pass on this. But if you're interested in, it's not even. It takes tropes from the Blair Witch, but not really. Like the forest thing is the only thing, and their three friends get trapped in the forest. That's the only thing about this.